So you're going to see some numbers today that are a bit out of date because we updated them on Friday.
Yep.
And over the weekend, there was a drone attack on some Saudi Arabia refinery facilities and oil field areas. Anyways, it created some obviously damage, and 6% of the global supply of oil has been disrupted, which as soon as that happens and there's a disruption in supply, then it can't meet demand and prices rise.
Yep.
And so we've actually seen a 10% price increase in oil coming this morning from when these slides are going to be presented. Now, I don't expect that to have a long-term impact, but hopefully it shines a light on the fact that Canada is a very stable source of oil.
I know, that's what I was thinking too, right? But the problem is, from an investment standpoint, our regulations make it very tough, so people are seeing it that way. But at the end of the day, if you had to pick between tough regulations and all your oil might get blown up, I might go with tough regulations.
Well, they're also,
I mean, hopefully our regulations just get less tough, and it just is what it is. But in general, I mean, there is something to that.
Yeah, and we'll be keeping an eye, obviously, the upcoming federal election.
Little wins.
Going to be keeping an eye on that to see how that all shakes down in terms of regulatory policy and such, and see whatever that changes. And everyone, regardless of what party is going to be coming in, will hopefully trying to win the West and win the votes in the West. So hopefully that creates some promises that happens. But let's take a look at the hard numbers. We're hoping to also see an increase in the September marketplace, starting with oil. Again, not too relevant. Imagine this being 10% higher. So as of Friday, it was $54.83 US, and Western Canadian Select is sitting at $43.04.
Sales in Metro Calgary are up 8%, which is great, sitting at 1,538. And our listings are also up at 7,501, typical for September market. In Red Deer, listings 712 versus 728, pretty stable. Sales are down just slightly, but the number of sales is smaller because Red Deer is smaller, so the number isn't quite as significant, but it's down 13.08%. Lethbridge, also quite stable, 806 listings and sales at 124.
And one of the things we're still watching as people get settled in to back to school and things happen, there's sort of that fresh start again. Even leading real estate companies of the world just sent out their newsletter, and one of the first things they talked about is that in the northern hemisphere, anyways, as our summer comes to a close here, we are looking at getting back into the swing of things, back into work, vacations are done, and hopefully we see more people getting in and pulling the trigger with their real estate decisions.